Yeah, okay, there is a story. See, as you can see, like, Legend of the Heroic Heart. Once upon a time, a fierce griffin guarded the kingdom's treasure. When a band of thieves kidnapped Princess Mystic Nimbus to force the king's surrender, a foreign hero rode the griffin through countless trials. He defeated the thieves and rescued the princess. Peace returned to the kingdom, and the two lived happily ever after. Curiously, no one has ever seen the treasure nor discovered where it was hidden. History of Libero. Centuries ago, Libero was a remote fishing village often raided by pirates. About 100 years ago, the townsfolk turned their focus from the sea to the mountains, taking advantage of rich soil and a warm, humid climate. They developed productive orchards and created their now famous limoncello. This transformation made Libero a celebrated seaside resort known for its thriving wine and leisure culture. The Abbott family's legendary past. Over a century ago, the Abbott family settled in Libero after a long voyage across the sea. They helped the townspeople drive out a pirate, Basil Raccoon, feared as the one-eyed butcher. Under their guidance, Libero flourished through lemon farming, trade, and tourism. Today, Count Prion Abbott, known as the Griffin Count, carries on his family's charitable legacy by supporting children's welfare and flight events. He is a leading candidate in the upcoming mayoral mayoral election.
Want to experience Libero from a breathtaking new perspective? Take to the skies with our hot air balloon adventure. The launch site is located south of Beach Market. Ticket information is available at the sales counter. Enjoy an unforgettable journey among the clouds. Libero's top attractions. Griffin Plaza. Located on the west coast, this open plaza hosts major town events. The hero statue at the center fountain is one of Libero's most iconic landmarks. Bar Street, the most vibrant and bustling part of town, filled with shops and taverns. In addition to Libero's famous limoncello, visitors can find handmade crafts and countless local bars. Beach Market, a lively seaside bazaar offering drinks, snacks, and fun mini-games. It is open only during competition seasons. Aircraft Showcase. After the competition, a grand closing ceremony will take place in Griffin Plaza. The champion will pilot the newest Griffin hot air balloon in a special tribute performance honoring Libero's legendary hero. The identity of this year's Princess Mystic Nimbus performer will also be revealed.
Competition rules. Competition rules. Number 1. The contest includes both solo and team categories. Number 2. It takes place over 3 days featuring preliminary, semi-final, and final rounds. Number 3. Contestants must submit all flight equipment details for official inspections before the event. Number 4. Alcohol consumption is strictly prohibited during the competition. I don't think I said number 4. Number 4. Number 5. All safety regulations must be followed at all times.
Libero's Cuisine Guide. Don't miss Libero's signature culinary delights. A true feast for the senses. Mains, wood-fired seafood pizza. Ooh, that actually sounds kind of good. Crispy cheese, arancini, beef risotto. Desserts, lemon ricotta, puff roll, Libero sweet bread, tiramisu. Beverage, signature limoncello.
Visitor from Beyond. Prologue. Into the Heights. Roses and the Black Storm. After the astrological murder case in Whitlow County. A few unanswered questions still lingered in my mind. One person stood out among them, the noble woman from the Aurora family who called herself the Lady of Dawn. She had no faith, no ties of love or hatred, and came here only to chase a century-old prison tale wrapped in doubt. She claimed to be an artist devoted to the stage, but I later learned even that was part of an act. After the incident, she disappeared without a trace. It was as if she existed only in that strange night known as the Night of the Black Storm. Tonight I came here to the Golden Rose Theater to see the premiere of The Night of the Black Storm. A deep crimson curtain fell to the sound of thunderous applause. The stalls were full of laughter and celebration, the theater glowing again with its old glamour and charm. No matter how dazzling a legend may be, the lights will eventually fade, but new performers will always step forward to shine. The new owner of the Golden Rose Theater also happens to be its most celebrated leading man and my former comrade, Ronald. After the curtain call, I stayed quietly in a corner, waiting for the crowd to clear. I was in no hurry. After finishing 2 bowls of my pipe, the man I was waiting for finally appeared. Ronald had changed into his bright white suit, looking like a peacock with diamonds on every feather. Well, well. Look who it is. Deer stalker hat, pipe, and that same old poker face. Mr. Inference, you never mentioned you'd be dropping by my play tonight. What's the occasion? That kind of work is for the penny prize critics. I'm here for something else. Oh, let me guess. Another discreet romantic scandal you've been asked to investigate for someone in the Melodis family? For some reason, there was a faint undertone of caution in his playful words. No, nothing like that. I was hoping you could use your Royal Nightingale Theatre connections to help me find someone. Novia Aurora. The young lady from Mayotte County? Mayotte? Ronald looked surprised. He caught on quickly. He always did. From what I know, she loved singing and acting since she was young, never married, and always stood apart from the rest of the upper class. Proud, yes, but an exceptional actress. Even Lady Bella, who's famously snobbish, admired her talent. The Night of the Black Storm was her signature work at the Royal Nightingale Theatre, so many expected her to be here this evening. I don't know why you're interested in her, but I'm afraid Miss Aurora isn't coming tonight or at any time in the future. Something in his tone and expression told me something was wrong. Are you saying she's dead? His slight change of expression confirmed it. Ronald never liked how quickly I could read people. I should have remembered you're too good at picking up on the little things, pulling the hidden lady truth out from between the words. That skill makes you an excellent detective and officer, but it doesn't make you the easiest friend to have. Thankfully, this time it's not my secret you found. I think that said you found. I think I read that wrong. Oh well. He gave me a faint smile, his eyes full of the kind of slyness that only comes from years in the game of fame and fortune. Take an old comrade's advice. Keep this to yourself. The Aurora family keeps funerals extremely private. Even knowing about this could cause trouble. One last question. When did she die? From what I've heard, about 6 months ago, lung disease. That only deepened my confusion. If Novia Aurora died half a year ago, then who was the Lady of Dawn I met? If someone was pretending to be her, why choose someone who was already dead? Since I've answered your questions, maybe you can give me a hand in return. I set those thoughts aside and nodded. Ronald's idea of friendship always had a price. Of course. You've probably heard about Croto. She made quite a name for herself since leaving the Golden Rose Theater. She's been invited to play the new Mystic Nimbus at the Heroic Heart Flight competition in Liberal next week. Every actress dreams of such a role. Even Lady Bella was invited once, but she declined. Krotos sent a personal invitation to the theater, probably to prove she's outshone Lady Bella. All the old staff know about it, but no one wants to handle that mess, so it landed on my desk. I won't judge her for showing off, that's her choice. But the new female lead is not the forgiving type. Stepping into this would be asking for trouble. So you want me to go instead? Ronald raised an eyebrow and pulled a finely decorated invitation from his jacket. I'll send her a note that everyone else is tied up, but you have the time. Have a good trip, detective. The Unrisen Blessing. The next morning at the agency, I was going through case files, trying to wrap up urgent work before my trip. Lady Truth came downstairs, yawning. Her eyes instantly went to the suitcase in the corner. Good morning, Mr. Inference. Lovely day. Heading somewhere? Before I could answer, the door slammed open with a loud bang. A familiar figure dashed in, grinning from ear to ear. Mr. Inference, Lady Truth, perfect. You're both here. Jose, this is exactly how you broke the previous door hinge. You still haven't paid us back for the repairs. Officer Jose, long time no see. What's the occasion? Big news. My cousin Carlos is getting married and he wants me to be the witness and help plan the wedding. Congratulations, but what does that have to do with my door? I'm getting there. Carlos is a pilot and he met his bride Isabella during a hot air balloon ride. Romantic, right? Next week he's going to Liberal, the town where they first met, to buy her a gift. That gave me a great idea. I want to give them a hot air balloon that can actually fly at the wedding. That sounds incredible. Count me in. Building a balloon is not simple. You're not planning to use old parachute making skills for this, are you? Why not? The principle's the same. We were the best paratroopers back then. A balloon needs a burner, envelope, basket, vents, and a fuel system. It's not just fabric and straps. Safety should be your first concern. Mr. Inference is right. Balloons aren't parachutes. But why don't we study it first? Too late. I already have. Jose grabbed a pen and started sketching enthusiastically. The envelope will be reinforced calendared cotton, coated in linseed oil to stop leaks, and shaped like a teardrop for less drag. The basket should be light but strong enough to handle an impact. I've got someone looking for the right wicker. Oh, and the burner and vent on top will use heat-resistant valves to control the flame. I'll put them here. I get it. That way you control fuel flow and use temperature changes to adjust light. Light? Lift. I'm such a pro at reading. Exactly. Sharp as always, Lady Truth. Have you calculated the total weight and volume of the envelope? For 2 people plus the balloon itself, we're looking at 2,000 to 2,400 cubic meters. Not exactly a weekend project. Which is why I need your help. The wedding's next month. I can't do it alone. I'll help. I knew you were the dependable type. They high-fived, then both turned to me. So I ended up agreeing to help with this absurd wedding scheme for a couple I'd never met. Look, the materials for the hot air balloon are ready. Not bad, right? Let's try assembling it. Oh, and design matters too. I prepared lots of beautiful decorations. Let's pick some out. What a lovely orange balloon, like sunset light shining through a wine glass, so warm and cozy. I wrapped the basket with silver silk and tidied up the shape. Looks classy, doesn't it? Honestly, I'm just gonna choose this one. Because I don't feel like or else I'm gonna stay here forever trying to pick something. This combo looks great. Leave the rest to me and Mr. Inference. Beautiful. Finally, it's done. It's gorgeous. Imagine the bride and groom arriving on this, surrounded by flowers. So romantic. Hold the celebration. Let's make sure it can actually get off the ground safely. Fair point. I want to see it in action. Jose stepped outside, lit the burner, and started heating the envelope. The balloon rose full and tall. Then the basket began to lift, but the burner sputtered with odd popping sounds. The temperature dropped, and the balloon sagged fast. What happened? We were so close. Burner is faulty. The hot air escaped too quickly. The envelope seal isn't tight enough. Lady Truth shut off the burner and returned with Jose, both looking disappointed. At least we caught it early. Wedding gifts should be safe and full of good memories, not risks. Best to let professionals handle such work. Officer Jose, maybe pick something else. I already promised. Can't back out now without looking bad. If you're set on a balloon, Liberal might have one ready. Carlos is going there, right? Wait, you're going too. Is Liberal your travel destination? Yes, looks like your powers of observation are improving. Thanks. Can I come with you? I heard they're hosting the annual balloon competition, and it's quite the scene. If you're willing to fund the trip, I have no objection. Why me? Door repairs. Fair enough. But if Carlos and I leave, the wedding decorations won't get done. Since this was your idea, you shouldn't dump the work on others. But if you really can't be there, I could go and help set things up. Lady Truth, you're a lifesaver. I'll bring you a gift, the best and most expensive I can find. I'll be looking forward to it. You may want to lower your expectations. There's a reason Jose is still single. Hey. The laughter filled the room. Outside, the sky was darkening. In the cold night, unknown schemes and tangled emotions moved in the moonlight. As we set off on our separate paths, Liberal sea breeze carried whispers of the past, and Stillwald's flowers swayed in the misty woods. Without anyone noticing, the door to fate had already begun to knock. Arrival in Liberal. When my feet stepped onto Liberal's soft beach, the salty sea breeze had already rushed in, carrying the scent of damp air. With the flight competition around the corner, the town was bursting with colorful decorations and cheerful excitement. Crowds of people came and went nonstop. The townsfolk chatted eagerly about competition rules, the sea ban, and visitors from beyond the stars. The beach was overflowing with upbeat energy. Hello, sir. Welcome to Liberal. I'm the market safety officer. You can call me Safety Line. I can't make my voice deep. Sorry, guys. Here's a map of the town that we give to all visitors. I hope it helps you enjoy your stay. Thank you. You're welcome. It's an honor to have you here in Liberal. If this is your first visit, would you like me to explain a bit about the town and the upcoming events? I appreciate that. Liberal is a seaside resort town with a history dating back hundreds of years. Its biggest claims to fame are our limoncello and our seafood dishes. Yum! Right now, we're in the Market District, the busiest spot in town. Whatever you can think of, food, drinks, or souvenirs, you'll find it here. Every year, under the patronage of Count Abbott, we host the Heroic Heart Flight competition. You came at just the right time. The event starts in 3 days, and this year's opening ceremony will be the most spectacular in history. Oh, and do you see that giant griffin hot air balloon in the middle of the square? Tomorrow it will be unveiled in a special ceremony. Throughout the tournament, all major shows and activities will also take place there, so make sure you don't miss it. After chatting with Safety Line, I headed to the spot where I had arranged to meet Jose and waited patiently. A week ago, we agreed to come to town to buy a hot air balloon and watch the competition together. Carlos, the soon-to-be groom, was supposed to join us too. Half an hour had passed the set meeting time, but I still couldn't see either Jose or his companion in the busy crowd. Jose wasn't the type to keep people waiting, so his unusual delay today was starting to make me uneasy. I won't accept this defective junk. You're a scammer. A burst of arguing came from one of the stalls nearby. I turned towards the sound. The skin under his sunglasses was dry and rough, showing signs of sunburn. His honest face was full of anger and frustration. A well-kept golden medal hung around his neck, clearly something of personal importance. His knuckles were thick and covered in grease and calluses, the marks of someone who works with machines and wears gloves daily. The fabric near his knees was badly worn, indicating he often worked on his knees or lying low. You sold me a bronze spiral tube that's completely worn down and the threading is off. This thing isn't up to standard. I've been doing business here for over 30 years. Prospero is a trusted name, so don't you slander me. That part isn't even the one I sold you. Junk like that would never appear in my stall. At my stall. I'm not lying. You handed me exactly this one. The burly man snapped back stubbornly but clumsily, only to meet her dismissive annoyance. I'd seen enough to get an idea of what was happening, so I stepped between them and politely held out my hand. May I? The old woman hesitated, then handed it over. I wrapped it in a cloth and placed it on a sheet of paper. I sprinkled a bit of magnetic powder onto it, and soon a few clear fingerprints appeared. What are you doing? If this lady says she's never sold this piece, then her fingerprints shouldn't be on it at all. Now the powder shows two sets of prints. This one belongs to the gentleman, so the other must be... Ma'am, could I trouble you to leave your fingerprints here on this paper so we can take it to the police for verification? The old woman froze awkwardly, then quickly hid her hands behind her back, forcing a smile. Her tone softened. Oh, come now. No need to get upset. I got a bit too greedy for money. How about I pay you back double? No, I don't want compensation. If a faulty part causes an accident, no amount of money can bring back a life. The man called over a market inspector. After confirming the truth, the officer immediately sealed up Prospero's stall. I'm Rotorwing, a contestant in this year's competition. Thank you, sir, for stepping in to help. I won't forget it. You're welcome. Your concern for life and safety deserves praise. It's just something I learned too late. Thank you again. I hope you enjoy your stay in Liberal. After Mr. Rotorwing left, Jose still hadn't shown up. The wait felt painfully long. At some point, the old woman from earlier appeared again, jingling a few shiny coins in her hands and looking at me with interest. Waiting for someone, sir? Why not play a few games with me to pass the time? Big prizes, I promise. No, thank you. Heh, I've seen a lot of faces in my years. Maybe I've seen the friend you're waiting for. Since I've been planning to ask around about Jose anyway, her offer caught my interest. Then tell me, how does your game work? Place bets. Too bad, no prizes this time. Looks like luck wasn't on your side. Want to try again? The balloon stopped far outside my predicted range. There's something fishy about this wheel. Maybe there's a hidden cheating mechanism. The scattered coins are clearly pulled to one side of the trophy. Seems the wall on that side is magnetic. If the magnetic side of the trophy is turned away from the flag and rewards, the balloon basket will be drawn to the magnet and stop in the no prize zone. So the whole game is rigged from start to finish, just a scam to swindle you. Again, huh? Some habits die hard. Should I fetch the inspector for you this time, or will you go yourself? Oh, sir, those sharp eyes of yours never miss a thing. I guess my little tricks really can't fool you. But let's not trouble the nice inspector again. Let me make it up to you in another way. I just need to ask you something. I described what Jose looks like and asked if she's seen him lately. A policeman in a blue uniform with a little mustache? I think I might have. Oh, right. I saw him when the inspector took me to the station. He was in the holding cells. The cells? That's right. Certainly not a place tourists can just walk into. If you want to get him out, you'll need a bit of, shall we say, local help. The old woman stretched out her thin, bony hand and gave me a knowing smile. Erased trail. Two hours after she left, Jose finally appeared where we'd planned to meet, looking exhausted and shocked. Mr. Inference, is it really you? That sly old woman actually told the truth? This is unreal. If she hadn't mentioned the scar under your left eye, I wouldn't have believed you were actually locked up. Start from the beginning. Why were you detained? And where's your cousin Carlos? Long story short, I got taken in because I was looking for Carlos. Seeing my puzzled look, Jose glanced around cautiously, his face serious. This town isn't right. My cousin went missing here last night. Nobody, no witnesses, just gone. He went on to describe everything that had happened since they arrived in Liberal. Carlos and I took a ship here yesterday at noon. After checking into an inn, we went to the liveliest tavern to try the local drinks. We planned to rest for the night and meet you the next morning. Buy the hot air balloon at the market. I must have to buy the next morning to buy the hot air balloon at the market. I must have had one glass too many. I passed out in the afternoon and didn't wake up until late this morning. I woke up and found Carlos's luggage was still in the room, but he was gone. I asked everyone nearby, but no one had seen Carlos. After we left the tavern around 5, not a trace in the town's entry or exit logs either. It's as if he just It's as if he just vanished overnight. So I went to the police for help, but they refused to take the case, saying all manpower was tied up with the competition. The local newspaper also declined to run my missing poster, citing no space available. Furious, I returned to the station to argue and ended up detained for disorderly conduct. I get the picture now, and you're right, something's definitely off. Since his luggage was still in the room, he clearly hadn't planned to leave. Of course, there's no records of him leaving town. But if his entry records gone too, then someone deliberately erased his movements. Carlos was last seen at the tavern, a crowded place where no one disappears unnoticed. The more consistent everyone's story is, the more suspicious it becomes. Before the competition, Liberal became crowded and busy, and the police were clearly short-staffed. Refusing to open a case was expected. It was already part of Jose and Carlos's plan to come to Liberal, so there's no issue there. The newspaper claims doesn't hold water either. Ads and notices are their bread and butter. I looked at today's paper, just the usual fluff, very few ads, plenty of open space. There's no way they were full. So either the editor hates money or someone intentionally blocks your missing person notice. You mean someone's deliberately trying to stop me from finding Carlos? It's too early to say, but there are definitely too many inconsistencies here. Wait, someone's watching us. Did you hear? That extraterrestrial was spotted again last night up on the northern cliffs? Funny thing is, no one seems to care. Everyone's too busy talking about the competition. The paper didn't even bother to report it, though that Science Foundation has been studying it for years. If my father hadn't sworn he saw himself, I doubt it even existed. Freshly made seafood pancakes. Would you like to try one? This vendor smells faintly of alcohol. Don't deny it, my nose is sharp. You must have had quite the night. 3 beers, a bottle of whiskey, and 4 glasses of wine. Good drinks are fine, but moderation is key. Next time, pair it with my seafood pancakes. They go perfectly. Welcome. Looking for pearls? I got all kinds. Good eye, sir. This strand of gold pearls from Southeast Asia is my most prized piece. Look at the flawless sheen on each bead. Not your style? Perhaps this instead. A natural conch pearl, 10 grams in weight. If the price feels steep, I've got freshwater pearls with floral markings, also great quality. Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to the docks? My husband and I want to rent a boat for sightseeing. What? The sea's closed off this morning? That's sudden. Strange rule to impose during such a big festival. Never mind, we'll look around somewhere else. I noticed a gaze watching us a moment ago. Whose could it be? I feel like it's always the one with the jewels. It's always the one that's trying to sell, like, some kind of jewelry. Some kind of, like, antique or whatever. This pearl seller doesn't sound legitimate. He seems unfamiliar with jewelry. Flawless describes white pearls, not gold ones. Conch pearls are weighed in carats, not grams. And floral markings refer to natural coloring in seawater pearls, not blemishes in freshwater ones. Plus, he keeps sneaking glances at us. He's the one following us. Want me to call him out, Mr. Inference? Not yet. Let's leave first and find Krotos. She's performing here and might have useful information. As we were leaving, I noticed something familiar in the corner near a small stall. It was Mr. Roderwing standing silently with arms folded as if waiting for someone. I decided not to pry and turned away, only to almost bump into someone else. Sorry. The young man in black glared at me with a cold, guarded look and then strode off. He went straight to Roderwing, and moments later the two slipped into the crowd. What are you looking at? Come on! Jose's urging pulled me back, and we moved away from the market. Visitors from beyond. I asked around town for Krotos' residence. It turned out to be within the private grounds of the Count, and not open to the public. I had to leave my contact details with the guards, hoping they'd find a way to pass on our request to meet her. This Count Abbot has far too many rules. At this rate, who knows when we'll even get to see Krotos. We can't just sit around and wait. We have to find a way to let her know we're here and that it's important. I do have an invitation she sent me herself. If we can get it to her, she'll know exactly why I'm here. But the problem is finding someone trustworthy who can reach her. I think I just spotted the perfect person. A playful, stylish hat made from fine materials, clearly expensive. Soft, well-kept hands, but normally wearing leather gloves and metal finger guards suggests experience working with machinery. A light, perfectly tailored suit. On its chest is a griffin-shaped gemstone brooch that hints at some high status. A glowing glass container holding a small and intricate mechanical piece, likely a personal collector's item. That young man, he's the one I saw earlier in the market. This time his eyes are warm, bright, and friendly, the complete opposite of before. Noticing our curious looks, he approached us at once with enthusiasm. Are the two of you tourists? If you run into trouble here, maybe I can help. It seemed Jose was right. This well-dressed young gentleman was indeed a good candidate to deliver our invitation. Why he looked so different from before, I couldn't yet say. Once he learned we were friends of Croto, he nodded cheerfully, willing to help without hesitation. You can call me Unidentified Phenomena. I'm in charge of Krotos' performance arrangements. Since you're her friends, I'm happy to do you this favor. Wait here, I'll be right back. Seeing him leave with an invitation, Jose finally showed a bit of relief after a tense day. Finally, something's going smoothly. I hope Croto knows something useful. We chatted while waiting, and sure enough, before long, Unidentified Phenomena returned. Sorry, but Miss Croto says she's busy preparing for her performance and can't meet you right now. What? Croto? She did ask me to thank you for coming and sent this bottle of Lemoncello as a gift. Please thank her on our behalf and wish her a successful show. She said she'll arrange to meet you as soon as the festival is over. In the meantime, Liberal has plenty to see and taste. Explore while you wait. If you need anything else, you can contact me again. Have fun! Oh, and one more thing. Liberal has an old legend about an extraterrestrial who appears only at night. As a local, I can tell you it's real. That's why there's a curfew from 9 o'clock at night with checkpoints controlling who can come and go. Don't stay out too late. Extraterrestrial? What is it? A ghost? No, not a ghost. It's a solid glowing green object that flies. It looks like a giant V, so some call it a visitor from Planet V, but I prefer the name extraterrestrial. If there's time, I'll share more observation reports with you, but I've got things to do now. Let's talk again soon. We thanked him and waited until he left before I examined the bottle. Planning to drink the whole bottle already? We don't even know what happened to Carlos. Croto isn't the kind to forget old friends. I think she left a message here. I noticed part of the label had a loose corner. Peeling it back, I found Croto's hidden note. She wants us to meet her at the beach at 9:30 tonight. Why the secrecy? Is Croto being watched too? Could be. It sounds like she also ran into some trouble. Judging by how she refused us openly but arranged a hidden meeting. First Carlos disappears, now Croto might be involved. Something's very wrong here. Jose wasn't wrong. There was a hidden force keeping an eye on us. All we could do now was wait for nightfall. The extraterrestrial murder. The vanished guest. After 9:30, Liberal had shed its daytime noise and bustles, leaving only silence and open streets. We slipped past the checkpoints and reached the meeting spot. Croto appeared in the dim light. It had been some time since we last met. She seemed to have changed quite noticeably. A sparkling diamond headpiece, makeup still exquisite, but her expression betrayed exhaustion and unease. Heavy eagle chain, armor draped over her, forcing a tense and alert stance. A glass bottle containing an unusual glowing fern. Silk gown, sorry. Oh, there was something on my phone and I pressed it. And yeah. Mr. and friends, it's good to see you. Croto strode quickly toward us, her expression holding a mix of welcome and genuine surprise. Ronald wrote to say you'd be coming in his place. I wasn't sure what to expect, but it's nice to see you, Officer Jose. I didn't expect the Golden Rose Theater crowd to sincerely celebrate my achievements, least of all Ronald. But I'm glad I sent that invitation. Thank you both for coming. Jose had business in Liberals, so we came together. We asked you here because we've run into a difficult matter and need some information. I nodded to let Jose explain in detail what happened before Carlos went missing. So, Mr. Carlos vanished yesterday afternoon, and no one's seen him since? Exactly. Have you heard of any missing persons cases? No. The town's been quiet today. Same as usual, except for... Except for what? Except for one strange incident. What kind of incident? I'm wondering if Carlos's disappearance might be linked to the extraterrestrial the town talks about. Why do you think that? This was the third time I've heard this odd term today. My curiosity grew. Because I saw it kill someone last night. Her voice trembled and she began recounting the eerie and frightening scene. I'm trying to make my voice sound more like, I don't know. A month ago, Count Abbott chose me from many candidates to play Mystic Nimbus in the closing ceremony of the flight competition. It's every actress's dream role, so I came here early to rehearse. But a week ago, the hot air balloon for my act broke down. The final rehearsal kept getting postponed, affecting my performance. To clear my head, I snuck past patrols last night to walk by the sea. Then I saw a hazy green light in the northern sky shaped like a giant V. It dropped quickly towards the cliffs, and I glimpsed a dark figure falling from it. A few moments later, I heard a splash as it hit the sea, and then fire broke out on the cliff. I was terrified, but curiosity pushed me to follow the sound of the splash. I found a man with black hair and a silver ring lying motionless on the rocks, his head covered in blood. I see. There are several important details here. Jose, do the black hair and silver ring match Carlos? Yes, they do, but that's not enough to be certain. Why was there a delay between seeing the fall and hearing the splash? What happened in between? I don't know. It was dark and far away. I couldn't see clearly. But I'm sure the figure didn't hit the water until a few minutes after falling. A week ago. That's right when we planned to come to Liberal. Coincidence? Carlos mentions coming here about a week ago too, before I told him about the balloon. I couldn't shake the feeling that the story about picking a gift for Isabella was covering something deeper. Croto, did you find anything else? Let me think. Yes, 2 things by the reef. A long iron shard fell from above. It almost hit me, so I tossed it into the sea. And this, a pocket watch. I didn't know what to do with it, so I kept it. Croto produced a soaked and stopped pocket watch. Inside the cover was a blurred photo of a woman. Jose recognized her immediately, his eyes reddened, voice shaking. It's Isabella. This is Carlos's watch. It really was him. How could this happen? I'm sorry, Officer Jose. Thank you for finding him. At least I know, but poor Isabella. Jose clenched his fist, composed himself, and his gaze sharpened. Mr. Inference, I have to get to the bottom of this. I don't believe in this supernatural murder story. Something's not right. I agree. But before we begin, we must keep Croto safe. She's the only witness. If the killer knows, she will be in danger. Wait, you mean this wasn't some ghost? Then what should I do? Thinking of the fact we'd been followed earlier this afternoon, I instantly warned Croto. Don't make any moves. Act like nothing happened until we understand the situation. Also, tell no one what you saw or that you met us. Jose and I will investigate tomorrow. If we find anything, you'll be the first to know. All right. Tomorrow afternoon, I'll be on the platform in the market for the unveiling of the competition airship. Find me there if you need me. We saw her off, then planned our next step. Tomorrow, let's check the cliff where Carlos died. We'll find clues there. Yes, but first we visit the police to see if they really know nothing. Draw the snake out, and the one watching us will reveal themselves. We left the bloodstained beach as the night slowly folded over Libero. The wind lashed against the silent reefs like cries demanding answers. Somewhere behind these strange tales, a conspiracy waited. Tomorrow, the light of day would start peeling back its dark veil. Chapter 2: Secret Buried by Time, Investigation and Company. The next day, Jose and I went to find the safety officer for the flying competition, asking him to open an investigation on the grounds that a tourist had drowned. Have you found the victim's body? By the time we arrived, the body had already been swept out to sea. You should ask the Count to lift the sea ban so you can recover it as soon as possible. The ban was only announced yesterday. If we cancel it so quickly, the Count's credibility will be a laughing matter. Which matters more, his credibility or a murder case? Sounds to me like he just wants to polish his reputation. Do not slander the Count. The Abbott family has done a great deal for the town, and the Count has worked tirelessly all his life. He single-handedly brought prosperity to our economy and funds the competition every year. To the people of Libero, he is a hero. The ban is in place because crowds flock to the coast during the competition, and private sightseeing trips can pose unnecessary safety risks. The Count took this precaution to prevent accidents. Besides, you have not proven that a crime has even occurred. Safety Line spoke gravely, defending the Count with all his might. Realizing there was no hope of getting the police to recover the body, I calmed Jose and decided to prove the crime another way. But we found his personal belongings down by the shore. Sorry, but a broken pocket watch alone cannot prove someone died. Do you have any witnesses? Jose and I shook our heads. The officer's expression showed he was dissatisfied. We will register it as a missing persons case, but with the competition underway, we cannot spare manpower for a search. Unless you can find someone who can confirm this is a death case, I cannot help you. Safety Line hinted at something, then walked off with his baton to continue patrolling. They do not care about who the victim was or how they died. They just want us to name the witness. I am worried they will eventually discover Croto's involvement. We need to act fast. Yes, let's head to the cliffs in the north. Maybe we will find some clues. The cliffs rise at the far north end of the beach, some distance from town and the markets, so they are rarely visited. This spot offers the best view of the town, which is why it is used as a weather observation station during the competition. We asked around on our way up and finally reached the cliff top, where a young woman in work clothes was busy. Are you two tourists? Sorry, this place is not open to the public. We are not here to sightsee. We have something we want to investigate. Are you here to investigate the extraterrestrial? Are you here to? Oh my gosh. It's not. Hey, why you gotta show up randomly like that? Why? Are you here to investigate the extraterrestrials too? I knew it. You are interested in it as well. The boy who helped us contact Croto earlier came walking up behind us, clearly delighted to see us. They are my new friends. We are here to investigate the incident that happened here the other day. Lord Lumion, why are you here? I have told you many times there is no extraterrestrial here. You and your friends will be wasting your time. Lord, do you mean this young man is... Lumion Abbott, the Count's only nephew, and the heir of the Abbott family. I thought you three were friends. How did you not know that? The Weather Watcher's questions left Jose and me speechless. We turned to look at unidentified phenomena. I never told them. Besides, I prefer the identity of the lead investigator of the Science Foundation. Unidentified phenomena explained for us, then took the topic back to the incident. Oh my legs. I heard that the other night a V-shaped light appeared above the cliff, causing a forest fire. It sounded a lot like the previous UFO sightings, so as the Science Foundation representative, I had to investigate. I thought the competition would keep you busy enough, but I see you are still keen on these tales. Unfortunately, the fire was caused by a leak in my hydrogen production device, which then exploded. See, there are still bits of hydrogen balloons here. I had already noticed the balloon fragments near the shed, but the scene also bore strange marks I could not explain. Yes, it looks like there was an explosion here, but we will need to investigate. We'll need the investigation results to be sure. And this time I have two friends experienced at searching. I am sure we will find something. A patch of scorched grass by a cliff edge, perfectly round in shape. This doesn't look like balloon debris. It's more like a circular, stable structure burned into the ground. A large flying circular object? Aside from a meteorite, only a hot air balloon basket comes to mind. But if something that big fell, why is there no wreckage? Strange. A small stone in the grass with faint reddish-brown marks. Judging by the color and smell, these are probably bloodstains. Could be Carlos's. I shall put it in the evidence bag and test it with luminol later. Grass blades, faintly glowing yellow-green, easy to miss in sunlight. This glow looks like something rubbed onto the grass, and it covers a wide area, probably left by something large. Something huge that glows? That's a classic extraterrestrial feature. Perfect. I have found key evidence. Were the previous extraterrestrials like this? Yes. It's one of the important details that distinguishes them from the other unidentified flying objects. We in the Science Foundation are rigorous. The footprints near the cliff edge are clearly more identifiable. Wait, something is glinting. A button, clearly not from adult clothing. Why would a child leave a button here? Strange indeed. This place is far from town and the market, surrounded by forest and wilderness and hard to reach. Normally, kids don't come up here to play. Not before anyway. What did you find? Let me see. Unidentified phenomena peered over curiously, then looked puzzled. A button? That has nothing to do with extraterrestrials. Why are you staring at it? Lord Luminen, you did not sneak up here with friends while I was away, did you? No, my uncle Salvatore has been busy lately, so he gave me the competition business to manage. I have had my hands full. No way I had time to bring anyone here. Busy lately, meaning you have done it before. Unidentified phenomena avoided her gaze nervously, but still argued. The view here is better. We in the Science Foundation sometimes borrow your telescope to look for unusual flying objects. But your place is cold and remote, with only a records room, no rest area. We have hardly come at all. Have you been in my records room? I just peeked out of curiosity. I never touched your instruments or notes, I swear. I always locked the door behind me and replaced the key so no one would know. Her face showed distrust. She turned and walked briskly into her cabin. She searched carefully, then opened the storage cabinet under the desk. Lord Luminen, explain this. Jose and I rushed over to look. Two clear sets of footprints marked the floorboards of the rotating cabinet. Taking a closer look, there are grass and soil traces nearby. I swear, I never crawled into this cabinet. I have no idea whose footprints those are. Maybe they were left long ago by workers during renovations? I cleaned this cabinet the night before last and it was spotless then, so they must be recent. Mr. Inference, look, the small footprint size and sole pattern match a child's. Could it belong to the same person as the button? Quite possible. Let's make an impression of the footprints. This could be an important clue. Jose nodded, while the weather watcher and unidentified phenomena argued. We recorded both footprints. The edge of the left footprint shows a special stitching pattern. The large print bears traces of resembling animal feathers. The right footprint is smaller and its patterns is so worn it's almost unrecognizable. Lord Lumen, I am not asking who sneaked into my records room. I am worried about safety. The generator and hydrogen equipment are dangerous. I do not want another explosion. The Count let it slide this time, but what about next time? I cannot risk losing my job here. The weather station may not hold vital records, but it is Liberal's last line of safety for the flying competition. These balloons, barometers, and thermometers may not be valuable, but they are important to me. Only by ensuring all equipment and records are correct can we guarantee accurate weather data. It is my standard for myself, and the bottom line for this job. I will not let anything jeopardize it. From today, I will change the lock and not keep a spare key. I have work to do. You should leave. Seeing the weather watcher's angry eviction, we left the station with unidentified phenomena. In a quiet spot, unidentified phenomena looked awkward and scratched his head. Sorry, it is my fault you were kicked out. Hope you do not mind. She is usually friendly. She just gets serious about work no matter who it is. Not at all. In fact, we appreciate the chance to investigate the extraterrestrial. Right, Mr. Inference? Yes, thank you. No need to thank me. Meeting like-minded people is rare. I am happy to help. I need to go write up the investigation reports now. See you next time. Unidentified phenomena waved and left. Watching his back vanish, Jose let out a sigh of relief. Phew, I am terrible at pretending in front of innocent people. Glad that is over. Innocent? That guy is not what you think. What do you mean? Don't you think his timing has been too perfect? From contacting Kroto to our meeting at the station, he guided us at every turn. The start of the Carlos case and its connections all involved him linking us to leads. Remember what he said when he mentioned us? Are you here to investigate the extraterrestrials too? I knew it. You are interested in it as well. They are my new friends. We are here to investigate the incidents that happened here the other day. I never told them. Besides, I prefer the identity of the lead investigator of the Science Foundation. I heard that the other night a V-shaped light appeared above the cliff, causing a forest fire. It sounded a lot like the previous UFO sightings, so as a Science Foundation representative, I had to investigate. Yes, it looks like there was an explosion here, but we will need to investigate results to be sure. And this time, I have two friends who are experienced at searching. I am sure we will find something. It's definitely the last one. Because he did say I have two friends who are experienced at searching. We never told him our backgrounds, only said we were tourists. How did he know we had investigation experience? Could it be he researched us beforehand? Jose quickly grasps the implication, his expression growing wary. What do we do now? Whether he is using us or not, we have to keep investigating Carlos's case. Jose, what do you think about it? I have been thinking, could that unidentified flying object in the sky actually have been a giant hot air balloon? Since it was dark, the full outline would be hard to see. Maybe the balloon fabric was coated with a reflective material, making it look like a huge V shape from afar. And don't forget, Carlos used to be a professional pilot. He definitely had the experience to fly a hot air balloon. That sounds plausible. I also do not believe this is some strange extraterrestrial murder. Right now, we need to figure out whether Carlos's fall from the cliff was an accident or caused by someone. And find out who was hiding inside the weather station's desk cabinet that night. Are they connected to Carlos's death? Exactly. This is our only lead for now. Come on, let's sort out the matter of those footprints first. Chapter 2, Secret Buried by Time, a trick hidden in time. Jose and I found Granny Prospero at the beach market and handed her the 2 footprint impressions. Granny, can you figure out who these footprints belong to? Oh, my eyes are not what they used to be. Jose swiftly pulled out a wad of money. Granny's half-closed eyes lit up instantly. When do you want the results, gentlemen? As soon as possible. Don't worry, there isn't a price of gossip in all of Liberal that I cannot find. See you later. While we waited for her to dig up information, Jose and I decided to check out Croto's rehearsal. I had heard from locals that before every annual flight competition, the Abbott family commissions an extraordinarily luxurious hot air balloon for the celebration. Using the most advanced materials and technology, it is displayed at the busiest spot in town. The faulty balloon Croto had mentioned was this massive one right in front of us. People were marveling at it and complimenting its beauty while eagerly awaiting this year's much talked about Mystic Nimbus performance. Right now, the Nimbus, who had just attended the unveiling ceremony, was chatting gracefully with 2 enthusiastic fans. Miss Croto, may I have the honor of your autograph? I would be forever grateful. Of course. Croto wrote elegantly on the sheet Jose handed her while quietly asking about our progress. Have you found out who the killer is? We have 2 suspects. Jose and I are still tracking down their identities, and we might get some leads later today. Have you noticed anything unusual? Unusual? Well, I haven't seen Count Abbott much lately. He used to send someone every few days to review my performance plans. And today, he didn't even attend the balloon unveiling ceremony. I heard he normally takes these pre-competition events very seriously. A few days ago, I overheard him shouting at someone. It sounded fierce, completely unlike the refined gentleman people describe. Maybe someone on his staff made trouble. Do you want me to look into it? Focus on your performance. Acting rashly could alarm them. Leave the rest to Jose and me. I whispered my advice, politely accepted Croto's autograph, and thanked her with Jose. Thank you, Miss Croto. Good luck and break a leg. May you both enjoy your time in Liberal, gentlemen. Croto turned gracefully back towards the stage, smiling at others. She seemed to thrive on the adoration. Never thought you could play the part of a fan so convincingly, Mr. Inference. You too, Jose. We traded compliments as we headed out of the crowd, planning to wait for the end of Granny's news. Oh. On the way, Jose accidentally kicked something hard, half buried under the sand. This is a barometer. Looks like it belongs to Miss Weather Watcher. We should return it to her. No need. Looks like she's already coming this way. A short distance away, the Weather Watcher was walking towards us, scanning the ground with an anxious look. Miss, are you looking for this barometer? Barometer? I think it's barometer. I don't know why I say baro. I'm saying it. I'm pronouncing it how I see it. Yes, I'm surprised it rode so far away. Seems my wind speed and direction predictions were a bit off. 15 degrees Celsius, 840 kPa. Pressure and temperature are good with a gentle wind suitable for flying. She checked the readings on the instrument while jotting notes. What are you recording? The town's weather observation chart from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. I log readings every 3 hours. Every 3 hours? So you climb up and down the cliff 6 times a day just to check the weather? Yes, that's my job. I launch hydrogen weather balloons with instruments attached, then collect the equipment at the drop site. She showed us the master chart. It clearly recorded every 3-hour reading for the past few days. This is the master sheet. After I come down, I update the secondary sheet posted at the market notice board. I noticed the time entry and recalled something important. Miss, how long does it usually take for a balloon to fall after launch? Normally about 2.5 to 3 hours. So the last batch each day lands around 11 p.m. to midnight? Yes, it's late, so I usually collect the record and record the 9 p.m. batch the next morning. Thanks for explaining. You're welcome. I'm glad your curiosity is about weather knowledge, not ghost stories. She walked away. Her blue and white figure reminded me of a white cloud. Looks like there's no salvaging our image in her eyes, but why the sudden interest in these questions? I have an important theory I want to verify right away. Let's head back to the market. We're going back to the market. We returned to the bustling market and soon ran into Granny Prospero. Gentlemen, here you are. Granny, you're back. Did you find anything? I tapped into all my contacts and finally found one of the soul patterns at a high-end custom shoe shop. Luckily, such an expensive style is rare and liberal. I confirmed with the shop owner that one print belongs to Lord Lumion Abbott. Unidentified phenomena? Hearing that, Jose and I exchanged a subtle look. Oh, I double-tapped that. Wait. As for the other print, sorry, but I haven't found a match in Libero. Thank you, this is tremendously helpful. Glad to help. If you need anything else, I'd be happy to assist again. Actually, there is one more thing. I showed her Carlos's pocket watch and asked which stall sold similar ones. You came to the right place. I have one right here. She rummaged through her stock, quickly producing a similar watch. Thanks, this will do. After paying her, I went straight to the shore and tossed the new watch into the sea. What are you doing, Mr. Inference? Seawater will ruin it. That's what I want. Yeet! The pocket watch stopped working when its internal parts were damaged by seawater, ceasing to move after about 10 minutes. I watched as the watch's hands slowed and finally stopped. After about 10 minutes, it is now just a lump of dead metal. Well done. Congratulations on ruining a Hamilton. How do you feel, Mr. Inference? I feel we might be on the verge of uncovering the truth behind Carlos's case. Really? You're not joking? Before Jose could press for details, screams erupted from the market crowd. Heads up! Someone's falling! I looked towards the sound and saw someone piloting an out-of-control jetpack swinging towards the crowd. Jose and I rushed to the landing site, pushing through the onlookers, and found Rotorween unconscious on the sand. Mr. Rotorween, are you alright? Green. What's he saying? Grin? Hey, wake up. He seems unconscious. I'll go find a doctor. No need. A familiar voice spoke from behind. I turned to see a slim, black-clad youth emerge from the crowd. He pulled out a bottle of something like a hangover cure, forced a pill into Rotorween's mouth. He just drank some bad limoncello. He'll wake in a bit. Unidentified phenomena had transformed back into the version I first met, eyes cold and defiant, with an air of hostility toward everyone. Are you his friends? We met him yesterday at the market. The youth gave us a sharp look but said nothing more, bending to pick up the flight device from the sand. The control levers are broken in two places. The bolts on the economy valve is loose, and the fuel pump drive is acting up. I'll take it back for repairs. When he wakes, have him come to the workshop on the hill. The black-clad youth walked away, leaving Jose and me staring at each other, puzzled. What's with him? It's like he became a different person and he looked at us like strangers. Maybe we should find a chance to ask him directly. I glanced at Rotorween's unconscious face, then looked at Jose. He understood instantly. We took Rotorween back to the inn, rested briefly, then headed for the workshop mentioned by unidentified phenomena. The missing third person. The missing third person. Let me do this thing real quick. Look at these shells. They are quite beautiful, though not as valuable as pearls. Sometimes beauty and value doesn't truly align. This is not a recent insight, but something I understood even as a child. The real world operates by a set of rules, and those with wealth and power are the ones who set them. For instance, the ornaments on my costume. Can you guess which is the most expensive? Not the pearls, nor the gemstones, nor even the feathers and shells, but these strange plants. Odd, isn't it? No bright flowers, no special fragrance, yet the Abbott family treats them as priceless treasures. Once during rehearsal, I fell, and the first thing they checked was the plant, not my safety. I was a bit upset, but I said nothing. Annoying the Count would certainly mean I got replaced, not the plant. This is not self-pity, but a gut feeling gained from years of struggling in this circus. The role of Mystic Nimbus may not be as simple as the story suggests. She is not just someone to be rescued. As for what symbolism or secrets she carries, perhaps only a detective like you could be interested. For me, ensuring the show runs smoothly is what matters most. Oh, bye, Curdle. Ah, a fresh lemon scent coming from you. Seems you have had a fruitful trip to the market. I do enjoy the scent, though small animals around me dislike it, so I rarely bring it home. Speaking of lemons, I must mention Libro's famous Lemoncello. In early days, the town made drinks from wheat and grapes. The taste was good but not remarkable. It was the first Abbot Count who shared the family's brewing secret and added lemons to improve flavor, creating the distant Lemoncello. I heard the Lemoncello they made back then was more intoxicating than today's, and it's worthy of being called a drink from heaven. The town gained many drunkards because of it, perhaps to curb overindulgence. The recipe was changed several times. Now Lemoncello has become a refreshing drink that is harder to get drunk on, more popular and better selling. The vast land in the north is now owned by the Abbott family for lemon groves. The Count's lemon orchards are strictly guarded. Only hired orchard workers may enter, and outsiders should not get too close. Unidentified Phenomena's workshop is a private studio packed with hot air balloons tucked halfway up the northern hillside of the town. Like Miss Weather Watcher's cliffside weather station, this place is far from the crowds, perfect for focused work. Unidentified Phenomena looks up and sees Jose and me at the door, clearly surprised and displeased. Oh, it's you. Mr. Rotorween still needs rest, so he asked us to come on his behalf. Is that so? Unidentified Phenomena fixes me with a cold stare, eyes full of suspicion and distrust. Given his build and willpower, I doubt a glass of Lemoncello would have him out of action until now. I know Jose and I gave Rotorween something to help him sleep, but no one else needs to know that. He wanted to come himself, but since it's only to pick something up, a friend can do it for him. Besides, we have something to discuss with you. Discuss with me? We are strangers. There's nothing to talk about. Jose gives me a quiet glance. Our earlier suspicion is confirmed. This black-clad, unidentified phenomena has no memory of meeting us. Just as the white-clad version could not remember sneaking into Miss Weather Watcher's desk cabinet. They were like day and night, divided by a line between sun and moon, each with separate personalities, memories, and lives. We want to talk about the night before last. Hearing this, he paused. The well-hidden caution and surprise in his eyes was instantly noticed by Jose. Where were you and what were you doing between 11 at night and 1 in the morning? My personal schedule is not something I need to report to you. Please leave. You are suspected of murdering a pilot. As a police officer, I have the right to question your whereabouts. Unidentified Phenomena showed no panic upon learning Jose's identity, only a mocking smile. Murder? On what grounds? Where's the evidence? It is suspicions of murder, and I have the evidence. The night before last, our companion Carlos crashed his hot air balloon into the nearby cliff. You were on the scene. The evidence is footprints. We had them checked. One pair matches yours exactly. Goodyear craftsmanship, double hand stitching, eagle feather tread pattern, all bespoke to you. So, why were you there? I did go to the weather station that night. Miss Weather Watcher keeps the hydrogen equipment there, which I sometimes borrow. I arrived around 11, spent half an hour collecting hydrogen, then left. I saw no one during that time and never saw the pilot you mentioned. I saw no one during that. No, that's a lie. Carlos's fall coincides exactly with the time you were there. You would not have missed him. The evidence that proves Carlos' fall happened a little after 11 at night is her observation chart. The barometer. A witness saw that when Carlos fell, the station's final batch of instruments had just landed. You saw him fall and chose not to help, instead faking an alibi. I do not understand what you are saying. You understand perfectly, and I have proof you falsified the timeline. Lost pocket watch. He died between 11 and midnight, but his watch stopped after midnight. I tested it. A working watch dropped into seawater stops in about 10 minutes. So his watch could not have stopped before midnight unless you deliberately set it back to clear yourself. Why think it was me? Because the dial has scratches that match your metal gauntlets perfectly. And you focused only on your alibi, showing no surprise at the time of death I gave you. A normal person hearing of a death tied closely to their own movements would instantly ask for the exact time to prove their innocence. But you did not, unless you already knew, just like when the watch was set to 37 minutes past midnight. So yes, I adjusted the watch, and yes, I failed to save him, but what of it? There is no law requiring me to feel guilty for someone else's tragedy. He fell off the cliff himself. It was sad. It was a sad accident, nothing to do with me or anyone else. You are twisting the point and arguing for the sake of it. If you are innocent, why go to the trouble of forging an alibi and hiding? And how did you clean the scene? No one could do it alone. Who was with you? You still have not answered. Jose surged towards him, but a powerful arm pulled him back. Please show the respect to Lord Abbot. He is not your criminal. You again. Let go of me. Jose broke free from safety line with force, glaring at the guards behind him. Why would you defend a suspect? Are you the police or the Abbott family's henchmen? I stepped forward, steadying Jose, speaking firmly. Sheriff, he has just admitted to witnessing Carlos's fatal fall. We need an official investigation. The Count will handle it himself. You need not trouble yourselves. Remove them. Yes, sir. Wait, take your belongings. Unidentified phenomena threw over Rotor Wing's jetpack, his gaze shadowed and unreadable. We left with the guards. The workshop was soon locked down and heavily guarded. It felt like a web of power thicker than night was keeping us from the truth. Jose and I walked back in silence. The sea breeze blew, but could not ease the weight on my mind. Damn it. We were one step from the truth. Calm down. Going head to head with the Count is not wise. The Count's influence is everywhere in this town. He hosts competitions, issues decrees, and commands guards, treating them like his personal army. The telling, the police, and newspaper reactions all show he has long been aware of our investigation. Now that he has stepped directly into the Carlos case, the situation is deeper than we thought. We need to plan carefully. I know, but thinking of Carlos dying without answers and the Count sheltering that man? Jose kicked his seashell, cracking it. I should go to the station, report this to the sheriff, and have investigators sent. I understand, but if we leave, hidden evidence may be erased completely. The more obstacles we face, the more it proves that the secrets behind this case are bigger than we imagined. We can write to the sheriff and keep investigating while we wait. After listening to my suggestions, Jose calmed, nodding. You are right. We cannot leave. I will write to the letter now. We headed towards the inn. Halfway there, Roderween appeared. Heyo. You can't sleep either? The sea at night is peaceful, but a bit dull. Good thing you brought something to break the boredom. Limoncello. This drink is too sweet for my taste, lacking a bit of bite and thrill, but a friend of mine truly enjoys it. He seems frail and slender, yet his tolerance for alcohol is incredible. Often I am already passed out drunk while he remains untouched. He is no foolish drunkard, though, but a flying expert better than anyone I know. The medal on my chest is one he won in a competition. Surprising, isn't it? Unlike me, he didn't bury himself in parts, mechanical theory, and diagrams. He preferred hands-on trials, even though he often ended up battered and bruised. I used to be proud and stubborn, unwilling to accept his doubts, determined to one day outdo him with my own work. Sadly, there is no longer that chance. Now I compete carrying this medal not only to prove myself, but to fulfill an old personal wish. Only after coming to Liberal did I realize that the world is full of diligent geniuses. I now understand what he always said. The sky is so high, you ought to fly up and see what's there. Cheer, my friend. I hope you find a sky of your own. Mr. Inference, Officer Jose, I finally found you. Roderween looked fully awake now, tired but bright-eyed. How are you feeling? Much better. Thanks for taking me to the inn. The owner told me everything. No problem. It's the right thing to do. I saw your note about picking up the repaired jetpack. We handed him the pack. He inspected it carefully, then relaxed. I cannot thank you enough. This jetpack is critical. The next 2 days of competition depend on it. The competition is soon, yet you drank so much today. Flying under the influence is dangerous. Jose pointed out his drinking, and his expression shifted. Pain flickered in his eyes. That drink was to settle something from the past. It will not happen again. The jetpack was repaired by the man in the workshop, right? I hope you thanked him for me. Why thank him? Jose's temper flared again, and Roderween noticed something was wrong. Looks like something happened while retrieving it. Roderween is an honest and straightforward man, so I gave him a brief, edited account, leaving out certain key details. He frowned as he listened, clearly seeing it differently, which made me curious. Do you know Mr. Black Vulture? You seem to trust him. Yes, he was the first person I met after arriving in Liberal. He is a skilled mechanical designer who oversees the competition equipment. He found a leak in my jetpack. I do not believe Black Vulture, the same person you call unidentified phenomena, would be the kind of cold and heartless man you describe. We have spoken recently, and though he is defiant in manner, he is genuinely kind and upright. He loves flight and cares little for wealth and power, spending years designing and improving aircraft. He even repairs competitors' gear for free and shares his latest inventions. How could someone like that simply watch a pilot in danger without helping? If Carlos's death was an accident, why did the Count shut down our investigation? You think the Count is protecting Black Vulture, yet I think it is imprisonment and control. You have seen the Count's tactics, blocking news, sending tales, bribing and expelling people. If he were truly the noble gentleman people say, why act so ruthlessly? He uses money and benefits to win people over, but drops the mask when his interests are at stake. To stop you from uncovering scandals, he had to keep you out. Scandals? Don't you know, the competition is not for noble reasons. It is to seize competitors' patents. To monopolize these lucrative ideas, he has done many vile things. But that is besides the point, unrelated to your investigation. So all this is just to convince us Black Vulture is not Carlos's killer? Yes. And even as a murder suspect, he never revealed who else was hiding with him. If he wanted to scapegoat, outing that person would be easier. His bias toward Black Vulture was clear, but his reasoning had merit. Have you known him long? No, I met him after arriving in Liberal. He helped me and we got along well. I suspected there was more to their story. Thanks for your thoughts. We will consider them carefully. I will be off. Need to prepare for tomorrow. He nodded politely and disappeared into the night. Do you believe him, Mr. Inference? Hard to say. His defense of Black Vulture is strong, and his hostility toward the Count is obvious. Same here, but he is right. The Count is quietly controlling the investigation. I feel like we were just pawns, now discarded. Seems the Count's secrets are no fewer than Black Vulture's. A future heir with dissociative identity disorder and a powerful domineering Count. What is their story? Night fully covered Liberal. Waves beat the shore like uneasy heartbeats in the dark. Our halted investigations had uncovered a deeper hidden secret. Finding the third person in that cabinet would be the first key to all the mysteries. The absent one and the entrant. The next morning, Liberal woke to the blazing sunrise and the roar of voices. The opening ceremony of the heroic heart flight competition finally began under the eager gaze of the crowd. Colorful flags waved on the grand stage as people craned their necks, waiting for the host to appear. But this year, instead of a member of the Abbott family, one of the judges, Dandelion, stepped onto the stage, sparking quiet murmurs among the audience. Contestants and guests, welcome to Liberal and welcome to the Heroic Heart Flight Competition. It is my honor to represent the Abbott family in hosting today's event and to announce the schedule and arrangements of this year's competition. First, let us welcome this year's special guest performer, the beautiful Mystic Nimbus, Miss Croto. In the shower of petals and cheers, Croto appeared in a gorgeous outfit, gracefully greeting the audience. May the sea breeze protect every brave soul. I will be waiting for my knight at the end of the journey against the wind. Her stunning appearance instantly fired up passionate responses from many contestants below. This year's competition has received unprecedented attention, setting a new record for attendees. To make the event even more exciting, the organizing committee and Count Abbott have decided to extend the competition from 2 days to 3. The decision stirred heated discussions among the crowd, but Dandelion's next words quickly reclaimed their attention. The competition will still feature both teams and individual events running simultaneously. The updated rules and schedules will be posted at the market bulletin. In addition, this year's champion will not only get to personally pilot the newest hot air balloon and perform the grand finale with Mystic Nimbus, but will also join the top 3 contestants at a private garden banquet hosted by the Count himself. May you all start strong and reach the crown of the clouds. The cheers rose again. Taking advantage of the chaos, Jose and I found Croto waiting by the stage. Lady Croto! Why have you come looking for me now? Quick, over here. Croto looked startled and uneasy, carefully pulling us into a quiet corner. I heard from the servants that Lord Lumion might have been put under house arrest. What happened yesterday? Black Vulture, the Lord Lumion you speak of, is one of the suspects from that night on the cliff. It was him? That was completely unexpected. That is completely unexpected. Croto seemed surprised, but there was also a faint, hard-to-read expression on her face. Is he now in police custody? That would mean I am no longer in danger, right? No, the Count confined him to the workshop. The other suspect's identity is still unknown. We want to know the real reason behind the Count's order, whether it is to protect him or to imprison and privately interrogate him. We hope you will help us get close to the Count so we can uncover the truth behind this case. You want me to investigate the Count? Absolutely not. That is far too risky. Croto shook her head firmly, then quickly softened her tone. The Count's power and methods are more than you can handle, and Croto glanced around to ensure no one was listening before lowering her voice. If he finds out I was the witness to Lord Lumien's act, he will never let me go. I'm sorry, but I will not risk ruining my proud performing career over the death of a stranger. I cannot get further involved. Before I get dragged in any deeper, let us end our cooperation here. Croto! Jose wanted to say more, but it was clear she had made up her mind. Gentlemen, I need to focus on preparing for my performance. I wish you success. Such a delicate and adorable souvenir. May I take a closer look? The wings are made of low-density balsa wood, shaped with streamlined curves to maximize lift from the air. Though just a simple toy, it holds plenty of knowledge about materials and aerodynamics. I imagine its maker, like me, enjoys observing insects. Dragonflies learned to hover 400 million years ago, and butterflies create ring-shaped vortices with their wings beats to aid flight. Insects are small and ordinary, yet possess gifts that humans can never match. In terms of flight, they are our undeniable teachers. Later, we could make kites soar high, yet our bodies could only stand on the grass, gazing up helplessly. By the way, do you know what the earliest aircraft was? You may be surprised. It wasn't a glider, nor Da Vinci's ornithopter. Ornithopter? It was an unassuming umbrella. Someone tied themselves to it with thin ropes and jumped from the top of a tall tower. Today, Liberal's many hot air balloons and pilots were miracles built through countless generations and countless falls. The reason I came here as a judge is to witness more such miracles firsthand. Is this a wooden dragonfly? What a charming little toy. I remember when we were children, Count Prion used to make these little trinkets for us. I recall he was always smiling, clothes stained with engine grease, hair messy, spending all day in the workshop tinkering with curious inventions. Rather than the image of a count, I saw him more as a big kid obsessed with blueprints and mechanical creations. People often said he neglected his duties since Salvatore had already begun helping the old count with official work at 16, refined and proper in manner. But Prion did not care about such remarks. To study the mysteries of the sky, he even funded the Science Foundation. Later, Liberal's first hot air balloon to reach an altitude of 1,000 meters was built by Count Prion himself. My father once said that if the old count had not stopped him so harshly, Prion would have been the first pilot to take a hot air balloon into the sky for adventure. People say it was Count Salvatore's flight competition that ushered Liberal into a new era, but in truth, it was that madman Count Prion who laid the foundations of Liberal's fame as a town of flight and made future dreams of soaring possible. After the workshop burned down, his name became taboo and no one mentioned him again. Sorry, I've gone on telling old stories no one cares about. Thank you for your gift. I will treasure it. Jose walked along the shore in low spirits, the cool sea breeze doing nothing to ease his frustration. Jose, Croto's concerns are natural. I know. I will not blame her. She has helped me a lot. I only hate myself for agreeing to come to Liberal with Carlos. If it were not for me, he would never have. Jose could not finish his sentence, regret and guilt pressing down on him heavily. I understood completely. This is not your fault, Jose. There are things in the world we cannot control. Since we cannot stop them, we must face them. I have a way to get close to Count Abbott. It will be difficult. Do you want to hear it? What is it? I saw the spark of determination return to Jose's eyes, so I laid out my wild plan. Enter the competition, win the championship, and go to his private banquet. There we will get our chance to investigate. But we have never had professional training. We have no equipment, and winning is out of the question. We have no advantage in the solo event, but we can team up with a professional who has no partner for the team event. The same name came to both of our minds instantly. The Cursed Abbot. I think that was chapter 3. We found Rotorween in the market's prepping area, busy adjusting his equipment, and told him our plan. Teaming up with you for the team event? Sorry, I've never thought about working with anyone else. We know this is a sudden request, but to uncover the truth about Carlos's death, we need a way to get close to the Count. Rotorween's thick brows drew together into a deep line, and a trace of pain flickered in his eyes. It is not that your request is inappropriate. What worries me is your safety. The team event demands both skill and teamwork. You cannot have one without the other, and with the official event tomorrow, we have no time to build report. Hosea and I had parachute training during our time in the army. We already have some basic flight and knowledge. As for teamwork, you will not know until you try. Our persistence finally convinced Rotorween. He agreed to prepare the flight gear for us and give us some quick training before the competition. Oh, shoot! Oh, shoot! I got this! I made it to 30-something thousand. Oh, frick. Oh yeah, there we go. Woo! There we go. Oh, oh! Yeah, take it easy, easy now. No! Ah, man. I know I can go further than that. Under Rotorween's guidance, Hosea and I made good progress, gradually picking up a number of flight techniques. Rotorween was not as bad at working with others as he claimed. In fact, our teamwork with him was much better than we expected. In the 2 days before the finals, we managed to pass the group eliminations round without incident, making it to the last stage. Rotorween himself performed brilliantly in the solo event, becoming a strong contender for the championship. On the 3rd day, Rotorween won the solo event, but in the team event we missed the top 3. Sorry, I could not get you the results you wanted. We were prepared for this outcome. You do not need to feel guilty. Yes, we can think of another way. Flying high with you these past few days has been an unforgettable experience for us. Same here. I will always treasure this time. Rotorween spoke softly, full of nostalgia, as if recalling some old regret. I used to be obsessed with winning. I never realized the journey to victory could be just as beautiful. Some things can never come back. He stroked his championship medal with care, then suddenly handed it to us as if he had made up his mind. What do you mean by this? You have been looking for a way to investigate the Count, right? Take my championship medal. It will get you into the celebration banquet. The guards only recognize the medal. They cannot remember who the champion, runner-up, or 3rd place are. I am not interested in that banquet anyway. You can have it. The rest will be up to fate. Hosea and I accepted the gleaming medal and thanked him repeatedly. I hope everything goes well for you. I believe Carlos will be watching over you. Rotorween then left to prepare for the celebration performance, while Hosea and I began planning our next move. Gentlemen, please wait. Miss Weatherwatcher. I saw your competition. You did well, though not quite as good as the top 3. Thanks for the compliment. Is there something you need? I wanted to see if Lord Lumion was here. I have not seen him for 3 days. After glossing over certain details, we told Miss Weatherwatcher about the situation with unidentified phenomena. He has been confined? I have been busy with work assigned by the Count. I had no idea. You are his friends. Could you visit him for me? It is not that we don't want to help, but the place is surrounded by guards. No one can approach. I can draw them away for you. How will you do that? You don't need to worry about that. Just make sure he's safe. I admired her courage and loyalty, but I also felt curious. Why don't you go yourself? That old house halfway up the mountain is like a nightmare for many. Something terrible happened there. It's what turned Lord Lumion into the person he is now. Her words caught our interest, so we asked for more. What happened? Everyone in Liberal knows this, but it has never been spoken openly. 10 years ago, the head of the Abbott family was not Salvatore, not Lord Lumion's father, Count Prion Abbott. He was a well-read gentleman, fond of tinkering with odd experiments in private. The workshop was his research site. My first knowledge of meteorology came from him. But when Lord Lumion was 9, Count Prion suddenly lost his mind and set the place on fire. Oh. Lord Lumion's mother and several close servants died in the blaze. He himself was knocked unconscious. Later, Salvatore found him at the base of the cliff along with Count Prion's body. Rumor says his deranged father threw him down the cliff, making him a miracle survivor and the next Mad Count. The next Mad Count? What makes people say that? The Abbott family has had odd rumors for over a century. My father says it's more like a curse. For the past 100 years, some Abbott descendants have been afflicted with madness. Lord Lumion's grandfather, the old Count, had strange stories circulating when he died. Salvatore is usually warm and friendly, but about this matter, he punishes severely and has forbidden it to be mentioned. A servant once gossiped in secret. When Salvatore found out, he nearly beat the man to death. It was the first time I saw him truly ruthless. In recent years, there have been mysterious fires and unexplained deaths in town, but the police have found no cause. So rumors of madness in the Abbott bloodline have begun to spread again. Many see Lord Lumion's odd behavior as proof that the madness persists within him. I have heard the Count has been losing his temper lately, probably because of this gossip. But these are just cruel speculations. Lord Lumion is simply traumatized by that terrible event years ago. Now he is confined in that house full of painful memories. I fear his condition will only worsen. She didn't speak further, but I understood her concern and agreed to help. We can go. There are things I still want to discuss with him. Wonderful. I am ready. I will signal you from the cliff. Thank you. Miss Weatherwatcher left gratefully. Jose looked conflicted. One choice is the Count's banquet, where we can investigate, and the other is the young noble with secrets. Hard to choose. Mr. Inference, which one should we look into? I will visit the workshop. I'd like to question Black Vulture again with that mysterious third person he will not reveal. Alright, I'll take the medal. Meet at the usual place afterward. When madness becomes a curse. Crossroads of fate. We meet again, Detective. Last time you won quite a few good things from me. I know you are a wealthy person, but would you be willing to trade some winnings for something more interesting? For example, a hidden family secrets behind Count Salvatore? No, I'm not talking about tired tales of family feuds, but the legendary cause of the Abbott bloodline's century-old curse. Perhaps you first think of the tragedy of Count Prion from over a decade ago. His madness struck in the night, killing his wife and servants, and burning half of the mountainside to ashes. Victims left almost no remains. Only an old woman like me knows that such tragic events had happened before. It became rooted as a terrifying curse in the Abbott bloodline because of a woman named Helen. When the Abbott family sailed to Liberal, they went from nothing to immense power in less than 7 years. One key thing they did was drive away the pirate who plagued fishermen, the one-eyed butcher Basil. It is said Basil committed every kind of evil, was extremely cruel, and even killed his own son in fits of rage. After defeating the notorious Basil, the Count did 2 things. He seized Basil's fleet and turned it into a merchant transport, and he carried Basil's daughter, a famed beauty. Married Basil's daughter, a famed beauty. Yes, that was Helen. The abbot's tragedy began then. I heard that after giving birth to twins, the Countess became melancholic and paid no attention to her children. Months later, Abbott's merchant ships were caught in a violent storm at sea. Only a few survived, the rest were lost. Hearing the news, the Countess began behaving strangely, even nearly strangling her two nursing infants. People whispered she had gone mad. The Count had to confine her in a remote attic to rest. But one night, someone heard her singing a strange sea shanty before she leapt from the attic window. After her death, tragedy struck each child in turn, becoming the Abbott family's feared century-old curse. That concludes the story. If there is a chance, I hope you can hear the rest someday. Farewell, detective. After 3 days of intense aerial competition, the celebration was in full swing. Fireworks burst across the sky as people relived the stage adventures of a brave knight and a princess. Few noticed the faint explosions and flash on the cliff above, but I knew it was Miss Weather Watcher's carefully prepared signal flare for the real adventure to come. The workshop guards saw the accident first. 2 stayed on duty while the rest rushed off to fight the fire. This was my chance. I knocked out the 2 drowsy guards, pushed the window open, and slipped into the dimly lit workshop. Why are you here? Where are the people outside? Black Vulture stared warily in the direction behind me, a trace of tension in his eyes. He wore a black top hat and glanced over impatiently, looking more haggard and harsh than a few days ago. A finely crafted mechanical griffin perched on his shoulder, small but lifelike. Metal armor covered his hand, sharp like the talons of a griffin, exuding danger. A ring-shaped glider made of sturdy metal and translucent material gleamed, both light and beautiful. Looks like the past 3 days haven't been good for you. None of your business. The deceased was my friend's relative. That makes it my business. Black Vulture gave a disdainful snort, his eyes full of thinly veiled hostility. You are here to ask about that dead guy again? My answer is still no comment. I had sensed you disliked Carlos, always calling him that guy. But from what I know, you treat other pilots kindly, even offering free help. Why such hostility towards Carlos? I guess that night was your first meeting? Black Vulture fixed me with a malicious glare, his voice colder than ever. Yes, I hated him. No reason. Did Carlos do something that night to make you feel such intense hatred and anger? I caught a flash of shock in his eyes before it was masked by his aloof pride. Do not try to pry a confession from me. You are not welcome here. Leave. I ignored his words and scanned the room, looking for anything he had hidden. A small dining table with half-eaten bread, fruit, and other food. Crumbs are scattered along the edges. Food for 1, yet 2 sets of tableware. Food scraps have spilled onto the floor where a small green button lies unnoticed among them. Crumbs trail across the floor, disappearing near the large round platform. On a large circular platform rests a uniquely shaped flying device. Its craftsmanship and materials show that great effort was put into making it. A gap in one spot is slightly wider than the rest. Stepping there gives a faint hollow echo from below. An old wooden desk marked by time, covered with schematics and tools. In the corner sits a faded photo of a father and a son. A childhood photo of Lumion and his father sits where it can easily be seen. After the search, I had guessed about Black Vulture's hidden secret. I picked up the button from the floor and placed it beside the one I had found on the cliff grass. These 2 buttons belong to the child you hid, right? And the footprints in the cabinet. Black Vulture's face darkened, his voice trembling unnaturally as he glared like an eagle. What child? No clue what you're talking about. Are you certain? I walked along the trail of breadcrumbs to the wider gap, stopping there. Do you want me to open it, or should she come out herself? His face turned pale, his fingers clenched tightly, yet he still refused to yield. There is no one hiding here. Relax, I will not tell anyone without your consent. Black Vulture looked surprised. After some inner struggle, he finally decided to trust me. Oh! He pressed a hidden wooden panel. The round platform slowly rose, and a twin-tailed girl stepped out timidly. Black Vulture. He pulled her into his arms, his gaze soft and gentle. Her name is Cicada. My uncle abducted her here from another town. I only managed to save her. The others were taken away by guards. Children, abduction. A chilling suspicion grew in my mind. And Carlos? He was the pilot transporting these children in a hot air balloon, my uncle's accomplice. Uh-oh. Around 11 that night, I ran out of spare balloons in the workplace and went to borrow hydrogen from the weather station. I saw a glowing object diving towards the cliff. It was a hot air balloon. It made a rough landing and sparks ignited nearby balloons. The pilot was flung towards the cliff edge. I went to save him, but saw several bound children in the basket. Cicada was awake and told me she was abducted. That was when I realized my uncle was behind it. I could not accept my work being turned into a tool for crime, so I let him fall to the rocks. My uncle arrived to clean up. I picked up the fallen pocket watch and faked his time of death, then hid with Cicada in the cabinet. The pocket watch situation is clear now, no doubts there. Cicada, what do you remember from that night? I was locked in a dark place. They made us drink something bitter, and we fell asleep. I spat some out so I heard them talking. His job was to take us far away. I was put in a big basket. It floated up slowly. I cried because I was scared. He tried to cover my mouth, and the basket shook. It suddenly dropped fast. Then Black Vulture saved me, and I have been hiding here since. The glowing object was why people spoke of extraterrestrials. For nighttime safety, Liberos balloons often have fluorescent paint, making them appear to glow. Abbott balloons usually have a griffin emblem. The large wings might be seen as the letter V. You mentioned there were more children. Where are they now? My uncle has them hidden away. Lately, he has secretly stepped up to the monitoring of all air and sea travel. I think it is to prevent Cicada from escaping. The C-band was to stop Carlos's body from being found. The travel monitoring was to locate the missing children. But suddenly extending the competition for 3 days, could that also be connected to these kids? Seeing me turn my gaze toward her, the young and sensitive girl immediately curled up frightened. Please, do not send me to the Count. Comforting a scared child is not my strong suit. I handed her back to Vulture and began thinking about our next steps. Hide her somewhere safe. I will go talk with Officer Jose to figure out how to search for the other children. I pushed the door open to leave the workshop, only to see a large group of guards running in panic toward one direction. Hurry, hurry! The Count is in trouble! The yellow glow of fire lit up the heavy night bit by bit. The lively music and dancing came to a halt in fear. The whole town woke in the commotion. People stared helplessly into the dark sky, as if sensing the storm to come. Oh! When Black Vulture and I arrived, the Count's estate was already locked down by guards, inside and out. Lord Lumion, the Count, Take us inside. Safety line quickly made way, and we stepped into what used to be a luxurious garden terrace, now a complete mess. Count Salvatore Abbott's body floated in the pool. The water was tinted dark red from his blood. Oh, hi, Jose. Jose, what happened? Someone broke into the Count's private gardens and killed him, but the killer has vanished. People are saying it was the extraterrestrial because several witnesses claimed they saw an unidentified flying object leave the balcony right after. Where were you at the time? That is a long story. I followed our plan and blended into the banquet crowd, looking for a chance to slip into the Count's room. Around 7 o'clock, I climbed onto the balcony when the guards were distracted. Just as I got there, I heard him storming into the room. He was furious, ordering Safety Line to find someone, then gave a bunch of instructions for work at the docks. He didn't seem well, sluggish and weary, constantly holding a handkerchief to his mouth and nose. After that, he seemed tired, took some pills, and laid down on a chair to rest. About 15 minutes passed, he was still asleep, so I decided to leave rather than wait. Unfortunately, I bumped a flower pot and woke him up. He immediately called the guards. I fled and was chased for over 10 minutes when someone shouted, "The Count is in trouble!" Then I saw a white, unidentified flying object hovering above the garden terrace, drifting toward the sea before disappearing. When the guards and I got there, Salvatore was already floating in the pool, lifeless. Liberal has been full of extraterrestrials lately, but I'm guessing this is just another case of mistaken sightseeing. I think that's it, sightseeing. By the way, how are things on your end? Any progress on Carlos's case? I meant to tell Jose later, but since he asked, I shared everything I had learned. Just as I expected, the truth hit Jose hard. No way, Carlos would never do something like that. I wasn't that kind of person. But it is the truth, Jose. Whether you tell Isabella or not is your decision. I need time to think about this. But the children do not have much time left. I gently patted Jose's shoulder, trying to encourage him. Count Salvatore may be dead, but the kids could still be sent away at any moment. Maybe tomorrow, maybe right now. I know you hate having regrets, so do not give yourself the chance. Jose finally looked up, his gaze falling on the wrecked terrace. You are right. My job now is to get to the bottom of this case. That is the only thing I should do. When madness becomes a curse. The truth about the extraterrestrials. This white curtain looks like it has faint dark red stains, dried blood. Only a few drops. Could it be the Counts or the killers? We will need testing to know. And look at the bottom of the curtain. The length is shorter and the edges are frayed, as if cut with a blade. The missing curtain pieces are not here, maybe burned, discarded, or taken away. Strange, why would the killer cut off part of the curtain? The safe has been opened, no signs of forced entry, probably unlocked with a key or password. Inside are patent documents number 23, 24, and 25, but 25 is missing. Seems that was the killer's target. This water trail runs from the pool's side all the way to the base of the wall. It does not look like a splash from someone falling in. It is more like water dripped down from the wall, across the floor, and into the pool. That wall really does have a wet patch upstairs, but I checked and found no leaks or water seepage. If that is the case, someone must have washed that part of the wall with pool water, leaving this trail. Wash the wall? What could have been there? The teapot and cups are smashed on the floor, look like there was a heated struggle. These scattered pills, probably the Count's usual painkillers, could be aspirin? Looks like it. We will wait for lab results. There are bits of broken glass here. Did you find anything shattered nearby? No, it is probably already removed or cleaned up. The body is fully submerged, toes pointing outward. He must have fallen into the pool backwards. But there is no white foam around the mouth or nose, so drowning is unlikely. Look at the back of his head. Clear impact trauma. The wound is small, yet the bleeding is heavy. It seems loss of blood, causing unconsciousness and shock is the main cause of death. Notice his right hand. The fingertips are slightly peeling and cracked, like they were burned or corroded. Wait, not just his right hand. There are similar marks at the corner of his mouth. Smells faintly of bitter almonds. That is a textbook sign of cyanide poisoning. He likely touched or ingested a lethal toxin. Looks like we will need a more thorough autopsy to confirm. This dining knife should normally be on the table, but it has been tossed onto the ground. Looks like it was used. No blood, no obvious wear. Probably not the murder weapon. Was this tree stripped? There are so many fallen leaves and branches. Jose, watch out for the spikes above. Relax, I'm just checking the break marks. Fresh cut, must have been broken recently. Shame about the fruit that fell. As soon as we finished, Jose sent the collected evidence to be tested for composition and toxicity. Black Vulture watched over once we were done. How did the investigation go? Any findings? The Count's body shows clear trauma and poisoning signs. The scene has multiple traces of deliberate destruction and cover-up. So I can say this was a murder carried out in a short time. Need me to help? Before he was killed, the estate had tight guard patrols and no suspicious entries or exits, so I suspect the killer is one of the banquet guests. I just had Safety Line check everyone who acted suspiciously between 7:15 and 7:30. We should have results soon. Before long, Safety Line brought in 2 suspects along with the guards. Lord Lumion, these two are the suspicious people we found. Miss Croto and Rotorwing? What happened? We found a bottle of unknown liquid on Miss Croto. No, this is just my hangover remedy. It is not anything suspicious. Croto looked tearful and spoke softly in her own defense, like a fragile rabbit. Someone saw her slip into the Count's wine's glass. I remembered he started feeling unwell after a few drinks and went to rest. You are mistaken. I was feeling dizzy and accidentally dropped it into his glass. You poisoned the Count, Miss Croto. No, I did not. It is just an ordinary hangover remedy. His death has nothing to do with me. Croto shouted anxiously, losing her refined lady demeanor. Miss Croto, please calm down and answer a few questions. This hangover remedy has no official label. Where did you buy it? At the market from a kind old lady. I had just finished my performance and needed to redo my makeup to get to the banquet, so I went to the closet stall. The closest stall, not closet stall. Closest stall. She told me it was the best hangover remedy she had. I paid right away. How was the effect? I felt drowsy and dizzy, and I wanted to sleep. Maybe that was when I accidentally tipped the medicine into the Count's glass. I really did not mean it. After the Count went back to his room, where were you? I had been working all day, so I found a quiet spot to rest. Rest for how long? Not long, maybe 15 minutes. Then all the shouting woke me and I learned the Count was dead. Alright, I have the picture. Where is Rotorwing? What's suspicious about him? The champion medal he used to enter and exit the estate was fake. Our guards almost fell for it. So it was fake. You were using last year's medal. Even if it's real, the rules don't allow it to replace today's required pass. Do we really have to be that strict? No matter which medal he shows, he's still this year's champion and an honored guest invited by the Count. But when the incident happened, this gentleman still couldn't provide an alibi. Rotorwing, can you tell me where you were after the celebration tonight? When the celebration performance ended at 6:30, I took a walk along the beach. The seaside was quiet, perfect for unwinding after a tiring day. While you were on the beach, did you notice anything unusual? If you mean something like an unidentified flying object, then yes, I did. Could you describe it in more detail? It was a small, white, glowing object, roughly V-shaped. It came from halfway up the mountainside near town. It wasn't moving particularly fast, but it disappeared quite suddenly. I later heard that Count Salvatore was in trouble. Out of curiosity, I came here from the beach. Then you saw what happened next. I got brought in by the guards because of that fake medal. Mr. Safety Line, I have a few questions about the Count's conditions. During the banquet tonight, when did the Count tell you he wasn't feeling well? It was close to 7 p.m. I was just about to arrange the guard shift change when the Count asked me to take him back to his room. I thought maybe it was his old illness acting up again, but I didn't think much of it and quickly escorted him back. What did you mean by old illness? Migraine. He's had it for many years. His room is always stocked with painkillers, which he takes after meals. From what you observed, was this episode the same as the usual one? Somewhat similar, but also a bit different. When he got migraines, he would always be irritable and short-tempered, a complete contrast to his usual gentle self. But tonight, aside from being a little emotionally unstable, he also seemed drowsy, as if he were very sleepy. Sleepy, so you didn't notice any symptoms of poisoning at the time? Not at the time. Maybe the poison worked slowly. Honestly, I don't really know much about that. One more question. In the past few days, aside from you, has anyone else been in contact with the Count? Ever since he handed over the tournament duties to the Lord Lumion, the Count has really met anyone privately. That includes me. Also, he's been in a bad temper for no apparent reason these past few days. Unless it was something important, no one dared disturb him. When was the last time he met with someone in private? Let me think. 5 days ago, Lord Lumion came to report on the daily affairs and they had lunch together. And 4 days ago in the afternoon, the Count sent me to bring Miss Weather Watcher over. He seemed to have some urgent task for her. Other than that, all meetings were public occasions like tonight's celebration, and I was present for all of them. Alright, thank you. After the questioning, I gathered my thoughts and analyzed the information I received today. Over the past few days, Count Salvatore, apart from identified phenomena and Miss Weather Watcher, had no private interactions with anyone. At 6:30 tonight, after the celebration performance, the Count returned to his private residence with safety line and began the banquet. Around 7 p.m., the Count mistakenly drank Croto's hangover remedy and began to feel unwell, planning to rest in his room. Jose, who had slipped into the banquet, climbed over the fence into the garden terrace where he encountered the resting Count. At 7:15, when the Count still hadn't left, Jose decided to give up the investigation, but as he left, he startled the Count and was chased by the guards. Around 7:30, someone discovered the Count dead in the swimming pool. Soon after, the others and I arrived on the scene. The case remains shrouded in mystery. Who was determined to kill the Count, and what was their motive? Countless questions swirled in my mind. I had to find the answers. Oh. I remember finding 2 suspicious clues on the Count's body. He said body, so those are the only 2. The bitter almond scent around the mouth and nose shows classic cyanide poisoning. Judging from the amount of bleeding at the back of the head, he probably went into shock from severe blood loss. These 2 causes of death were likely the work of different people. I should start reasoning from that angle. Besides the pool, I found traces of blood that had been deliberately cleaned elsewhere at the scene. That's right, the balcony wall. The killer forcefully shoved the Count against the wall, causing the head injury and leaving bloodstains. To cover it up, the killer washed the wall with pool water, then moved the body beside the pool to make it look like he slipped and died from the fall. No one saw anyone leaving the Count's private residence during the incident except for one thing. The white, unidentified flying object Jose mentioned was probably a small balloon-like aircraft, though simpler in construction. The killer must have used the materials on site to build a makeshift glider and flew away. When making the glider, the killer first needed a good cutting tool. Dining knife. That's right, the dinner knife. The killer used it to cut something at the scene, crafting the glider's frame and control rod. The curtain. Let me think. Oh. Nope. After building the basic structure, the killer used the dinner knife again to cut another item, creating the glider's wings. Okay, that's gonna be that one. The killer cut down the drapes with a table knife to make the wings, broke a few branches for the frame and control stick, and quickly put together a simple glider. The white drapery reflected the moonlight, so from a distance it looked like a glowing V-shaped object. Based on Jose's testimony, the Count was killed between 7:15 and 7:30. During that time, the people who could get close enough and had the chance to commit the crimes were Croto, but it's not her. Miss Croto is frail and didn't have the strength to kill or even move a man like the Count. I actually love seeing this. Not only that, but I don't think she really knows about air stuff, yeah. She also knows little about aeronautics, so building a makeshift glider would have been far beyond her. Even if she had the time, she didn't have the ability to carry it out. So it'd have to be Rotor Wing. This is so cool. Yeah, because he knows about this kind of stuff. Rotor Wing is strong, skilled in flight design, and experienced both in crafting and piloting. It seems he's the most likely suspect to have attacked and killed the Count. The effect of cyanide depends on the dosage. A large dose can kill within seconds or just a couple of minutes, but with a moderate or small dose, symptoms might not appear for 15 to 40 minutes or even longer. That means the Count could have been poisoned any time from the start of the banquet until he returned to his room to rest. Everyone, including the Count, drank wine at the banquet, but since the drinks were handed out randomly, targeted poisoning can be ruled out. Aside from the wine, I remember Croto and Jose both mentioned that the Count ingested something else during that time. I don't think it's that. Okay. No. There we go. Jose mentioned that when the Count returned to his room, he seemed to be holding something private in his hands. A handkerchief? I also recall the strange marks on the Count's fingers and around his mouth and nose, exactly the areas that would often touch a handkerchief. If that handkerchief had been coated with poison, the toxin could have easily entered his body through inhalation or contact with his lips. But the strange thing is, Jose and I didn't find any signs of the handkerchief at the scene. If it wasn't taken away by the culprit, then someone else must have secretly hidden it before the investigation began. From the time the crime occurred until the investigation officially started, apart from myself, a few others entered the scene. Safety lines served the Count faithfully and had no reason to hide crucial evidence. Let me think. Jose? Jose, though resentful towards the Count because of Carlos's death, didn't actually learn about it until after I told him at the scene. Besides, during the whole investigation, he never left my sight. There's no way he could have hidden anything. True. So it has to be Black Vulture. There we go. But Black Vulture, the Count's nephew, knew his uncle's habits and personal belongings better than anyone else. When he discovered what the Count had been doing in secret, he showed clear disgust and disdain. Given that, Black Vulture seems the most suspicious of the three. Okay. After sorting the clues, I also asked Jose to bring Miss Weather Watcher and Cicada over. They stared at the Count's body with different expressions: fear, sadness, even barely concealed resentment. But what they saw were just fragments of human nature. My job was to piece together the complete story with the truth. Everyone, Count Salvatore has 2 different causes of death: shock from blood loss and cyanide poisoning. At present, the person most likely to have attacked him is... Really? It's gonna be Rotorwing? Oh. Oh yeah, that attacked him. Yeah. Mr. Rotorwing. Mr. Rotorwing, can you tell us why you killed Count Salvatore? Mr. Inference, you should know that I have never had any dealings with the Count. In fact, we have never even met before. I have never done such a thing, nor can I imagine any reason why I would have to kill him. But you are the killer, and the evidence is right here for everyone to see. These blue stains, they are human blood. When you spray this reagent onto a spot containing blood, it uses hemoglobin as a catalyst to trigger an oxidation reduction reaction. This process creates a chemiluminescent effect, which appears as a faint blue glow. From the way the light clusters and changes in size, it is clear that the Count's head struck the wall more than once. Rotorwing, you must have acted out of intense anger and resentment. Mr. Inference, it seems you have already decided your mind that I was the one who killed Count Salvatore. I may have some strength, but you should know I am not a violent or brutish person. That may be true now, and I believe you originally did not want to become that kind of man. Before you openly clashed with the Count, you spoke to him calmly, just like you are speaking now, pretending to be friendly and earn his trust. But the real reason you held back was to get something from him. That something was patent file number 25 from his safe. Your silence tells me I guessed correctly. Once you had that file, you turned cold. You caught Count Salvatore off guard and slammed his head against the wall, trying to kill him. But you underestimated a man's will to survive. He fought with all his strength, pushed you down, and damaged your flying gear. There were only 2 ways to leave the Count's terrace: the guarded main door or jumping off the terrace. You were forced to choose the latter. One side of the terrace faced the banquet and the guards, and the other faced a steep cliff where you left with only one choice: the cliffside. With your equipment damaged, you had to use whatever you could find on the terrace to create a crude, unpowered glider. The materials were quite simple: a piece of curtain fabric cut into the shape of a glider, some lemon tree branches fashioned into a frame strong enough to support your weight. Once it was quickly assembled, you left from the terrace under the cover of night, gliding towards the sea to avoid the banquet crowd. Witnesses mistook what they saw for a mysterious extraterrestrial. After landing safely, you disposed of the makeshift glider and returned here pretending to be a curious guest. Your deduction is impressive, but unfortunately it still has holes. Everything you have deduced cannot prove that the person who killed the Count and escaped using a makeshift glider was me. In this story, the killer could be me or Safety Line or even Miss Croto. Mr. Inference, in your terms, this is called direct evidence. It seems during these days together we have both learned quite a bit. Clearly, you have taught me far more than I have taught you. Your jetpack is powered by a fuel supply system. The most important components are the fuel tank, power module, and valve controller. During your fight with the Count, the power module was damaged and its glass fragments fell into the gaps on the terrace floor. We can bring in experts to compare these fragments with the breakage from your equipment to confirm if they match exactly. No need. I am an expert in mechanical power and materials science myself. The evidence you present is something I accept without question. Mr. Inference, Officer Jose, I confess, I killed Salvatore Abbott. The Gentlist Fall. But I don't understand. Why did you do this? Yeah, you already won. Your dream came true. No, my dream ended on the day Green died in Libero. Green, that's the name you were muttering when you fainted earlier. Who is he? He was last year's champion. I remember the Count even hosted a banquet in his honor. He wasn't just a champion, he was also a mechanical engineer and the creator of the lightweight internal combustion engine used in the celebration. So he really was amazing. I read about him in the news too. They said he died in a flying accident right after last year's tournament. It wasn't an accident, it was murder. Rotary glares at the Count's body floating in the pool, his face twisted with rage. Back then, Salvatore noticed Green's engineering talent and wanted him to stay in Libero for theoretical research. But Green loved freedom and didn't want to be tied down to dual research, so he refused. To steal Green's patent, Salvatore had someone tamper with the parts of his aircraft and then made him drink a hallucinogenic liquor. They made everyone believe that Green flew under the influence and caused an accident through reckless piloting. How did you find out about this? A friend told me. He couldn't let go of Green's death and secretly investigated the truth. So tonight I went to the terrace to meet the Count under the guise of cooperation and asked to see last year's patent files. You mean file number 25? Yes, that was all Green left behind. When I saw the smug look on Salvatore's face as he bragged about it, I completely lost control of my anger. Rotary unclenched his fist, looked up at the sky, and smiled bitterly. I don't regret it. At least I avenged Green. Their friendship moves everyone's present, but the case of Salvatore's death is far from simple. Did that friend tell Rotary the truth out of kindness, or was there another motive? Mr. Rotary, that friend of yours, it was Black Vulture of the Abbott family, wasn't it? How did you know? The only person in Libero who could dig up Salvatore's secrets and share the same fascination with machines as you would be him. And the reason he told you the truth was likely to use you as a weapon to kill Count Salvatore. I turned my gaze toward Black Vulture, who had been silent until now. The others also looked at him in shock. Detective, what are you saying? Lord Lumion would never do that. We're family. Everyone knows that after Count Prion's death, the Count treated him like his own son, even as the heir to the Abbott name. Mr. Inference, are you accusing me of inciting murder? You didn't just manipulate Rotary into killing, you also had your own plan to poison the Count. What are you talking about? Black Vulture would never do such a thing. Wait, we still don't have concrete proof about the poisoning. Isn't it too soon to conclude that? I already have the evidence. What evidence? Mr. Safety Line, you were around the Count every day. You should know that he always carried a handkerchief, right? Yes, the Count had a bit of an obsession with cleanliness. He liked to wipe everything before eating or using it. And where is that handkerchief now? I'm sorry, I couldn't find it, but I can confirm that when I left him last, he still had it. The only people who knew that habit and had the chance to approach the body after the crime were Mr. Safety Line and you, Black Vulture. I'm sorry, Black Vulture, please let me check your pockets. Jose rummages through his coat and pulls out a neatly folded handkerchief. A faint smell of bitter almonds lingers in the air. That's the Count's handkerchief. I'd recognize it anywhere. Lord Lumion, you didn't. It's just as you think. I was the one who poisoned him. After being exposed, Black Vulture shows no anger or panic. His calmness is eerie. You expect me to react? Sorry to disappoint. The moment I decided to make that poisoned handkerchief, I was ready to face whatever came after. You did it to save those children, didn't you? Not just them, my parents, everyone I once knew and loved, and the innocent lives lost in that fire. The fire? You mean the one from 15 years ago? Yes, the madness in the Abbott bloodline didn't fall upon my father, it fell upon him, Salvatore Abbott. My father died saving me, but he was blamed as the culprit instead. What? Are you saying it wasn't Lord Prion who suffered from the madness? How is that possible? A week ago, when I went to his room for the usual tournament reports, I overheard him speaking with his private doctor. He complained that the painkiller he took daily was losing its effect and that he was on the verge of losing control several times. He said he would still manage those problems for now, but he was suffering from headaches and hearing loss. The doctor told him it was a normal size effect of bromate and that he was working on a new treatment. Later, I found out bromate wasn't a painkiller at all. It's a drug used to treat mania. That's when I realized all those fires and strange deaths over the years were just crimes he desperately tried to hide. If I hadn't discovered the truth, I might have lived in my foolish ignorance forever. Black Vulture's bitter self-mockery feels strangely familiar, as if behind him I could see the shadow of someone else draped in white. Am I imagining it? Jose, who had been silent, finally cut in, unable to bear Black Vulture's growing hysteria. But killing himself's nothing. The secrets he hid are gone forever. Why did he suddenly change the tournament from 2 days to 3? What about the children? Where are they hidden? We may never know now. Children? Hidden? What are you talking about? Jose explains the secret deal between Salvatore and Carlos to everyone present. You mean the Count secretly used a hot air balloon to traffic children? That's despicable, hurting innocent kids like that? The extraterrestrial people saw in the night sky was actually the Abbott family's hot air balloon? Miss Weather Watcher turns pale as something clicks in her mind. So the hydrogen project the Count told me to finish in 3 days, it was to fill that balloon to send the children away? I catch the keyword and quickly press her for details. What hydrogen balloon? Please explain, Miss Weather Watcher. The one displayed on the festival platform. It was made as part of Miss Croto's stage performance, a hot air balloon. The Count said it would be launched 3 days later as the closing ceremony for the tournament. Today, he also told me to keep an eye on the shipment at the docks. He said it was meant for airship at the marketplace platform. That's the one I built. He planned to use it to take away the other children. Tonight. A chill runs through me and I break out in a cold sweat as realization strikes. Just then, distant cries and the sound of suddenly igniting reach us from the beach. Look, what's that flying up there? It's the Griffin aircraft from the stage. It's moving on its own. As Croto shouts, Black Vulture and Rotorine dash toward the marketplace by the sea. We have to stop them from taking the children. I'll get an aircraft. Safety line, go alert the city guards. Hurry. Rotorine and Black Vulture can't handle this alone. Croto, get the other pilots for help. On it. Jose, let's go too. Ooh. Okay, that was short, but that was actually really good. Who knew Hullabaloo could be such a nice guy? I still hate him. But not as much as I hate his survivor self. When the engines finally stopped and it landed back on the platform, the crowd erupted in cheers of relief. As the smoke cleared, people rushed forward. Tiny figures huddled in the cabin corners were lifted out gently, like fledglings freed from a cage. Liberal's skybound adventure had finally reached its end. Black Vulture, thank you. I can finally go home. Safe travels. And thank you all. I'll write to you. Don't worry, everyone. I'll escort her safely. Safety line leads Sakata away. Black Vulture watches them silently until they vanish from sight. You didn't even ask her name. It's not important anyway. And you, should I still call you Black Vulture, or do you prefer unidentified phenomena? So you figured it out again. Only unidentified phenomena would get close to the Count. That's how his secret was uncovered. As for yours, I'll keep them safe. Our secret? I say nothing more and gesture for Jose to come over. Lumion Abbott, Rotorween, you both saved innocent lives tonight. You are heroes beyond doubt. But before the law, good deeds cannot erase crimes. And for the death of Count Salvatore Abbott, I must arrest you both. Please cooperate. The cold handcuffs closed over the heroes' wrists, binding not only their hands, but all the night's sins, sorrows, and redemption. The sea wind of liberals still blows, but it feels as if a long-held shadow has finally lifted. This flight, fueled by greed and paid for in sin, has at least fallen, shattered, and come to rest. Epilogue. Night tide echoes in the air. After the Liberal case was settled, the related files were archived and the media's attention slowly faded. That passionate and grand journey through the skies had finally returned to everyday calm, yet certain questions and echoes still washed over my mind from time to time, like the tide. On my desk lies a copy of the final investigation report from the Liberal Police Department. Police report. Liberal Police Department case number LL0927. Final investigation report. Excerpt. Deceased. Salvatore Abbott, male, age 56. Cause of death remains contested. A forensic examination in this case produced rare disagreements. Cyanide was detected in the body. Excessive aspirin was found in the blood, along with traces of phenobarbital, and there was a fatal impact injury to the back of the skull. Points of contention. The phenobarbital found in the body is a sedative. Its dosage and compositions were confirmed to be non-lethal. However, the excessive aspirin ingested would cause severe coagulations, impairment, in someone already losing blood, eventually trigger shock and a fatal risk. It is therefore currently impossible to distinguish the sequence and relative effect of these three lethal factors or determine which was the ultimate cause of death. Criminal trial. The orphan of Prion Abbott confessed to poisoning, switching medicine bottles, creating a cyanide lace handkerchief, and incitement. The suspect, known as Rotorween, confessed to intentionally inflicting deadly injury. Given the complexity of the cause of death and the suspect's significant rescue actions afterwards, the sentencing review has been unusually complicated. Final verdict is still pending. Note, the child abduction case connected to this matter has been transferred to a higher level department for investigation. The gears of law turn slowly when faced with tangled facts. Official announcements attempt to draw a line under the storm. A newspaper clipping from the Kingdom Weekly bears the government statement. Government ban notice. Royal family and cabinet joint statement. Announcement regarding the indefinite suspension of Liberals' flight competition and the Abbott family scandal. In light of confirmed evidence that Salvatore Abbott, former Liberal councillor, and his family used the Heroic Heart flight competition for long-term illegal activities that endangered public safety, the cabinet has decided to permanently revoke all Heroic Heart series event hostings rights, establish an interdepartmental special investigation team to review all past Abbott family business activities, land deals, and charity projects. For the 5 children rescued in this case, the government has activated full placement and psychological support programs and will pursue the whereabouts of other missing children from prior years. Commend the civilian pilots who risked their safety to help in this sudden incident. 5. Their courage and unity set an example for all citizens of the kingdoms. We reaffirm that any attempt to mass crime under the guise of charity or development will face the harshest penalties of law. The future of Liberal will be rebuilt on the foundations of integrity and justice. Public attention gradually shifts elsewhere, but for those caught in the heart of the storm, life has been permanently altered. A few days later, I received a letter from Croto sent during her touring performance. The envelope bears her slightly messy yet still ornate handwriting, and paper scented faintly with cheap perfume unfamiliar to Croto's usual style. Letters from afar. Dear Mr. Inference, hello. I wonder if you are still investigating those complicated, strange cases. I am now traveling with a third-rate touring troupe, performing on makeshift stages in small towns. Since Liberal, I have not been invited to any respectable venues. Lady Bella, Count Abbott, the gossip rags love linking my name to these tragedies, calling me a raven, one that brings bad luck and ill omen. Not the most flattering title, is it? Oddly, more people come to see my shows now. Maybe they want to see what this harbinger of disaster looks like, maybe just out of curiosity. Whatever the reason, there are more eyes watching from the pit. Stage lights still burn hot on my skin, sometimes reminding me of Liberal's piercing sun. The flowers and applause are fewer, but more people remember me. That is an opportunity too. Rising again from ruin is something I have always been good at. Next time, I only hope fate gives me a script with a bit more light. If you see Officer Jose, please give him my regards. Yours always, Croto. Newspaper clipping. Judicial news brief. Follow up on body found in Liberal waters. Last month, an unidentified male corpse was recovered from Liberal's nearby waters. After extensive technical comparison, it has been confirmed that the missing pilot is Carlos M., as reported months ago. Autopsy revealed 2 major head injuries, one at the occipital area, consistent with falling from height and striking rocks, another on the forehead, the fatal injury caused by blunt force sustained before the fall. The victim's lungs contained only a small amount of seawater, indicating he was near death or already dead upon entering the water. Forensic experts noted that the forehead injury matched a blood and skin-stained rock fragment found at the site. This rock was not naturally detached, its edges bearing signs of grip, though no usual fingerprints were recovered. The case has been reclassified from accidental drowning to suspected murder, but with the incident long past and key evidence missing, the investigation has stalled. The envelope also bore a crooked balloon sticker. Inside was not only the letter, but also a crayon drawing of many small figures holding hands in a giant airship. Hello. Oh. My dear Mr. Inference, hello, I'm Cicada. Do you remember me? I am doing well now. I have been adopted by a kind couple who own a fruit orchard. They gave me a new name, Cecilia. It's a nice name, isn't it? They are teaching us reading and mathematics, and Miss Weather Watcher in town teaches me how to look at clouds and predict the weather. Granny Prospero sometimes lets me help at her stall. She says I have a talent for business, but what I really want to be is someone who stands in the spotlight like Miss Croto. Even though people misunderstood her as an ill omen, she is the kind of person who, even when afraid, smiles at doubt and shows her grace and charm. That's wonderful, isn't it? Also, I have a small secret request. About that night, most of what I told you and Officer Jose was true, but there is one thing. I lied. This part of the writing is crossed out with thick lines. The secret is only for you. I do not know if it is right or wrong, but saying it makes me feel a little better. Wishing you safety. Sincerely, Cicada, Cecilia. And smaller writing. Sorry, I decided to keep the secret after all. Granny Prospero says every woman should have her own secret. Please forgive my little stubbornness. She's probably the one that hit him on the head then. Because we all know that we saw the rock. He got hit in the head. So I'm wondering if it was Cicada that did it. And that is it for the story for Visitors from Beyond. That was interesting. That was actually very interesting. I wasn't sure how they were going to go about having Acrobat as the S tier, where it was him and his hunter form. But very interesting that they actually did like have him be 2 different people in a way, and that he just like transforms. So definitely kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of situation. But for them to make him a good guy, usually in these stories, the Hunter S tier is the one that's like the bad guy. So it was definitely a nice little like difference, and that the fact that the A tier was also, I mean, it's been a while since we've had the A tier also be kind of like one of the like not really a bad guy, but to be a killer. But yeah, that was that, and I cannot wait for the next story. See you guys later. Bye.